All right, everybody. So we are going to try to see if we can actually do a Shatterpoint stream today. Welcome, everyone. Salute to the Armed Forces. It is Memorial Day. We are having a grand time here at Tribe Comics and Games in Austin, Texas. I'm NorbyYT1300 here, your host for the day, trying to give you a game between Aaron and Junyi. We are joining in into the second struggle out of three. We have Junyi already having won one. And the teams that we have, Aaron is bounty hunter, so we have the notorious Cad Bane, his backup Aura Singh, and just a couple of generic bounty hunters, just NPCs wandering around. His second strike team has the Mandalorian, his buddy Grief Karga, and IG-11 Assassin Droid also wandering around. And we've got a brutal attack laying in right now. Coming in right into, it looks like Ahsoka Tano is going to be trying to defend.
No, it's going to be Bo-Katan was defending.
Oh, okay, so it's under Bo-Katan, who's going to try to trust the tough Mandalorian armor. Now, speaking of Bo-Katan, so we've got all bounty hunters on the left-hand side for Aaron, and on the left, we've got like a mixed team. We've got Lord Maul leading Gar Saxon and two Mandalorian super commandos, so he's got his team of Mandalorians he's corrupted. But we've got another Mandalorian team. We've got Ahsoka Tano, for the light side, with Bo-Katan and Clan Kree's Mandalorians. And the Mandalorians have got some really interesting abilities to reposition on this battlefield. So, bringing y'all in on where we are. So if this really fun terrain in the very middle. Actually a 3D printed dice tower that Aaron made, which is super cool. Like this thing right here. Super cool. And okay, so where we have our battlefield laid out. So I'm going to try to give you the rundown. So we have on the back right, one of the, you can't really see them, but kind of hidden behind right here is one of the super commandos, like trying to post up, hang out, keep their eye on the battlefield. In the middle, we've got our two super powered people. We've got Gar Saxon, like jetpacking right up top, and you can kind of tell because Gar's got. Oh wait, no, that's not Gar Saxon. That's just Gar Saxon somewhere else. Where's Gar Saxon? Okay, so we've got our two Mandalorian facing off against another Clan Kreese right there, who's jetpacking into it. At the very top, we've got Grief Karga, who's sitting there with his two pistols, just, keeping eye on everyone, who's sitting right next to that objective. So he's in the position where he exactly wants to be, giving orders to his folks, just chilling, wearing his, sick coat. At the south, or at the east side of the field, we've got Aura Singh facing off against Ahsoka Tano, brandishing her double-bladed lightsabers, her double lightsabers, about to just lay into Aura. We've got the Mandalorian and IG, best buddies, walking up through the middle, also contesting this objective. In this area, we've got the two bounty hunters backing up Cad Bane, so a really nice bounty hunter force, hungered, able to get a little bit of height control, and trying to maybe move in to the west, where you can see that other commando is on the yellow objective. And in case you're wondering what that little white token is next to it, that's actually the priority objective for this mode. So of all the objectives to contest, that one right there on the side is super important. And that's why I think I just had to guess why Aaron on the east side has assembled this little strike team. Now I'm going to update the momentum tracker because having possession of these, we need to move the... Oh, and you can just... He's using that Mandalorian abilities. Yeah, so the Mandalorians can jetpack really, really nicely. You can just fly themselves across the map. So, you see that Mandalorian Super Commando sees Grief Karga, off by himself and is like, nope. Uses his cool little, headset, rangefinder thing, rockets himself up. And in case you're wondering, hey, what's going on with both of these things? They're a unit that can move together, so they both... land right up there, and he's like, uh-oh. And we've got the two Mandalorians look right at him. And they were able to do this as an action that used force. So they still have their other two actions. They could focus and then both shoot him, which would raise dice. Or they could use the... Ooh, did they have a strain? Yeah, so in case you're wondering, wait, what's going on? So they actually were strained by a previous effect, and strain is basically you're really hurt, and you need to take a time off. But since they didn't, the strain automatically deals 3 damage to them. So they just toughed it up, gritted their teeth and landed on top. They still have their actions. They can focus, they can move, or they can maybe use other actions that are on their action bar. Try to figure out how he can get closer, I think, to that objective.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna
So he takes a focus to go ahead and shoot. He's measuring against that objective. In Shatterpoint, of course, you can measure at any point. I mean, these people are all like military geniuses, or they're seasoned soldiers, so they have no need to like guess distances. They just know, oh yeah, I'm close enough to this objective. I'm not. So they focus. So they land up, and instead of just kind of landing there, they do like superhero landings and like come up like focused, ready to fire. Grief just like stares them right in the face.
Okay, and then grief.
So that's a melee, right? Because they're in. Yeah, so the first one is actually too close to be able to fire. So he switches from missiles to guns and just tries to. What does he whip him with? He just with the pistols, right? So he just whips him with that blaster. Doof. Whoa, never mind. So he actually like underneath his wrist just. Grief 3 blocks. So shrugs some of them, but 3 does get through. So somehow he shrugs off a flamethrower, but now Ginny's going to figure out like how badly this was to him. So Grief definitely took something. He's standing a little precarious to the. So he's definitely a little close to the edge. So 4 damage. So Grief definitely gets like he gets hit. Now, the real question is, what is he going to do with this second attack? Because both of these troopers are attacking. Now, since this one's farther away, the first guy who got to come up and, short-range flamethrower. The second one, on his knee, pulls up his, little Mandalorian blaster, aims at Grief Karga. Grief, still a little bit smoking. Rolls not the best shot. So, hit and damage into Grief. And Grief is rolling his 5 dice. He looks at this Mandalorian and is like, no, not today. And we get a block into expertise. What's Grief going to do? So it looks like we only have 1 crit going through, so like 1 step on the damage tree. But the real question is, can he push him off this objective, or... okay, so he's on 1. So doesn't actually end up wounding Grief, because if he's wounded, he has to like take a knee. It's like totally out of the fight, and he's no longer contesting that objective. But since the Mandalorians are able to perform that attack, they dash on forward, and have him and are able to take control of that objective. So they like shot him and like can jog up and close, and Grief is still like reeling from this, right? So they're like, oh, they got shot. And then they're coming over and they're like basically taking this objective. So they did great. And we have Junie shifting it up because the momentum tracker was still on the other side. So we move it to the 2. Okay, so moving the momentum token, which you can see at the very top. We're trying to help show this off to folks. Although now that I think about it, you can kind of see that momentum token at the very, very bottom. So, you know what? Let me think. Can I zoom in for everyone? Let me see. You know what? I'm going to see if I can instead just... Let's see. Can I zoom? Let's see, because I know that would... You know what? You've got the momentum tracker right there. I'm just going to turn our momentum tracker up here off, just so I don't have to keep bothering folks with this. Okay, so momentum tracker at the top of the screen, folks, is off, and it'll just let me go ahead and narrate this for folks. So trying to figure out what he's going to do. So he drew the Mandalorian, who right now is sitting at the east of the field, who's got Ahsoka at his back, who's like dueling with Aura Singh. He's got the IG-11, and he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. So Mandalorian's got a couple options. He's behind the terrain in front of him. He's got that ladder. He can try to jump up and help out Grief and say, no, I've got you. So what he could do is if he moves forward, he can rocket up that ladder to be at the exact same level.
It's not realistic unless you're actually role-playing the voices. So you say it like Pedro Pascal, say, no, I got you.
Yeah. Gosh, that was great. That came through the little mic so nicely. So he would look. So let's see what he would do. He would look over at this, and the little guy. He would say, "What do you think, little guy?" And like the little Grogu would look up and just point and like kind of grit his narrow his eyes, and he's like, "That's what I was thinking." Lands straight up, and then just lays into those 2 Mandalorians there. Although he doesn't just land up there, you also get the little like ooh like musical sound effect when he lands up there. So then we have those folks just do 1 block. So he. Ooh.
So that will add.
So what's.
1. Okay. So 3. That'll be 4 damage and
So
A shove.
so with his first, just do 4 damage.
2 shoves.
And each time you shove, you can move 1 towards him. So you can definitely get into objective range there.
Two shoves?
Yeah, 2 shoves.
So these bolts hit like a truck. Like he lands at the very top, and there's and then just that trooper just literally just he sees his buddy just get blown off the roof. And then after each shove, you get to advance, and so he basically runs on in. And that was his free shot. Because he's just that hardcore. So he sees the guy right in front of him, and he's got the little gaffy stick, right? Whips it, does some cool little. Wait, no, is that a gaffy stick? Oh, it's just martial prowess. So he does some cool like Mandalorian.
The Beskar.
Oh, see, he's got the Beskar spear. He like bangs it on the floor for no reason to get that cool little like shimmering sound, and then just whips it around and just baseball bat slugs into. Oh no! And then he was like so pumped up that he just straight whiffs this guy just right over his head. But it's okay because you just heard Aaron say because he now has 2 versus 1, he now claims that objective back, and so is gonna he doesn't wound him. Oh, and I think that's the mission critical. So okay, and in case you're wondering, that little chiming sound, you can see in the bottom of it. Oh gosh, yeah, the momentum token is right there. Okay, so this awesome firefight happening on this tower. Gar Saxon, in case you're wondering, like, where is that dude? So even though he's a sniper, he's kind of just chilling underneath everything. He like waded into the middle. He's got sight lines on a troop behind him. He can see the Mandalorian and IG-11 in front of him. Unfortunately, the Mandalorian is totally on full health, and IG-11 is super hurting. Is IG-11 down? Yeah, so IG-11 is like straight dead. Basically. Oh, okay. So Gar Saxon's in the very middle. He's got this massive sniper rifle. He looks around on the battlefield. He sees basically a smoking IG-11 who's like basically in pieces. No point to shoot him. He sees the Mandalorian whose armor is like totally untouched at the very top. He sees the bounty hunter, Cad Bane, and Arsene just like totally healthy, and he's thinking, okay, how can I take advantage here? He's got like a really cool jetpack, so he can fly himself around too. And his best target's probably that Grief Karga at the very top. So tries to figure out like how he can possibly help out, and wait, so it was Grief Karga, or it was Gar Saxon?
Sorry, I'm gonna jump back there. I'm gonna pull that first.
Oh, it's the Mandalorians instead. Nope.
Let me change it to
Yeah. So what is very important is in this mode, and actually, what's the name of this one? They call it they're jamming our. Yeah. So basically, what's going on is not only are they trying to like cover these points, but the points keep shifting on them. Like they're just going all over the place. So they have to keep running around to figure out like which one is the most important, where they can focus their attention. And so what he's doing is Gar Saxon basically reached out and said, "Hey." And he yelled at the commandos to say, "Hey, move!" And he moves that one over to where he's like in a little bit of a better position. He's not really doing much good up there because Grief Karga and the Mandalorian are, on top of it.
Can you jump? Can you voluntarily jump?
Can you jump down? You can't jump down on the long move.
No, I'm saying like on a short move as your move action, can you jump if your character is not using your jump action?
I'm like 99% positive you can. And you're jumping down, right? Or jumping up?
Well, I'm jumping. That's the big one. Move. Oh, nope. Can only dash, advance, or fly. Not jump. That's important because if I jump, I get a buff. But if I don't spend a force, I can't jump.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so what he's trying to figure out is, we've got Gar Saxon right there at the very bottom, who's trying to figure out what he can do at this point. He commanded one of his troopers. Gar Saxon's, kind of hidden underneath that tower, and I wish I could go ahead. Let me see if I can actually do this. Here, we're going to try to be a little bit crafty this time, folks. So we're trying to get a little cinematic, in case you're wondering like what's going on with the camera. I'm going to see if I can fly this around for
Alright,
everyone.
so we got
And so
Aura
you
is
can
most
see
living
where Gar Saxon is. So he is
She
right
has
in
one
there.
line, but
And if I
and
move
Grief is
us
most
back
living.
over,
yeah.
yeah, Gar's right over in there. Moving us back. That was probably without without a stabilizer on that camera. That was probably way too jittery for everyone. I'm sorry, folks. Okay, so trying to figure out like what Gar Saxon's going to do because Junie again has won the previous struggle and is now trying to figure out, okay, is there any way that he can claw back this one, or is this going to go to like the final showdown? Now the thing is,
Or are we gonna consider that the victory?
I would say no.
so
There.
unfortunately, he would have loved to shoot straight up at Grief Karga. He could hear the beatdown that they gave to those Mandalorians. He could hear all the gunfire, and so he knows that there's someone up there. But unfortunately, he can't get there himself, not without a move. So if he jetpacks up, he definitely can. But unfortunately, he's strained. So he takes a heal action, which means that he is healed. And with his powerful blaster, who's he going to shoot?
So
He's going to shoot.
um, so Grief gives a hunker with one of his abilities.
You can't gain Hunker though.
Okay.
So basically, he just says, "Oh, I see Aura Singh in front of me," and so he just lays into her with his rifle. Unfortunately, not the best shot. We've got hit, crit, and then
Two crits.
so
I
two
get
crits going through.
A crit to miss.
And with her
I get an extra block,
expertise,
crit to a miss, and then a climb.
Okay.
So 2 blocks.
A climb? That's a jump. Okay. Okay, so 2 blocks. I'll do 1 crit. And that crit will be
so trying to figure out what goes on next. So we're doing a little bit of count. So does 2 damage to Aura. Aura is on 6 now. So a realistic chance, if he's able to get her off the table or get it to where she can no longer contest objectives, that would be super important for Junyi. And now she also gets to make that jump action, which she can if she wants. Or she could just kind of stay there. She's like facing off right with Ahsoka. She's got IG-11 right next to her. And then in case you're wondering, like, hey, why did he, like, what was the point of that commando right there? Well, since the commando was right there, he was actually able to get that objective back. So you can see the counter for the struggle is like right there in the middle. So it is getting close, ladies and gentlemen. Now he's got Cad Bane. Now, in case you're wondering, like, well, Cad Bane, who's this guy? So our boy Cad has just been chilling on the far side of the map. It's him and those bounty hunters backing him up, staring across the board at those 2 other Mandalorians, and they're the ones standing in between them and that objective token on the other side. So Cad could run over there. However, if he runs over there, there's no real value to him because he's not going to be able to capture that because it's just him. Now, if he runs and moves or runs and pushes those guys off or somehow moves that Mandalorian off, he's actually going to be able to score that point. So Aaron's thinking, he said, okay, how can Cad Bane look across the bridge, see these 2 Mandalorians in his way, and he's like, they're between me and my objective. Gosh, I can't do the Cad Bane voice. But, he basically sees them in between him and his objective, and he's going to be sprinting across the table or across that catwalk, trying to figure out if there's a way to... wait, no, he's not. He basically looks at them and, like, jukes. Oh, okay, so what's he going to do? So if he runs up... You do have your old jet boots, right?
I'm out of force.
Oh, no. Yeah, so...
That's an idiot move.
So... Trying to see if he can move and shoot. Maybe he can shoot that commando off the edge, or maybe he can shoot one of the wounded.
Bounty.
Oh, so he's trying to shoot Bo-Katan, who's like down there. And so Bo-Katan actually... And what does she give? What does the bounty give you?
It gets me basically an extra momentum.
Oh, so the we're already in the countdown era, like a countdown phase of this.
Not doing that. We should be.
Yeah, so we're in mission critical because we've already elapsed the time interval. So now literally every turn there's going to be another momentum.
Pretty good.
Oh, and he lays a huge shot in.
Gets me.
Ooh, okay, we've got some good blocks on this side. So let's see what we've got. We've got almost all paints.
4 blocks.
So 4 blocks coming through. Who had they chose to figure out? So with that much damage going through there, basically he runs across the catwalk, sees he wants to go for the objective, but he knows he can't do anything there, so he's just going to score points by wounding Bo-Katan. The reason he does is that Aaron's deck is like bounty hunter themed. There is actually a bounty on her, and when he does, he gets a spare extra momentum token, which is going to push him even closer to winning. So rockets over, looks at Aura, shoots with his like super powerful, really cool pistols, and then what he's trying to figure out though is because he did some like uncancelled hits, he can figure out whether he wants to just deal damage or look at other things on his damage tree. And I'm actually going to see. You know what? Let me look at that for Cad Bane. Let me show his stance. And so needs no introduction. Is that his stance? Yeah. So basically he can jump and shove, and the jump lets him advance using the short tool, and the shove lets him actually.
Get it. Well, shove. It would shove bow.
Yeah. So.
I assume it's the character that I'm in.
Yes. And we were wondering, it's like, wait, so basically he like physically hits her, so and because and now he's got his force,
3 for me.
and then that does it. Okay, and so in case you're seeing what's going on over there, and it's like, yep, he was able to successfully wound Bo-Katan, and that brings us to the third and final struggle. So we were at 1-1, ladies and gentlemen, but we have continuously incrementing, so let's see, so we have the get to the chopper mode, basically actually this is super thematic. So because the middle part is elevated, it's like a floodwater like scenario going on. So we have like torrential rains like carrying floods down, and there's like a really cool like landing craft. Basically there's only one landing craft that could possibly lift them out of this scenario, and they're basically just going to carry whoever is like the victor. So we have like one of those big Corellian haulers that's going to land right in the middle of the battlefield, and it's going to lift off whoever is on this like middle area. So basically their objective is to hold that middle line, because they know that that's what's going to let them get lifted off this and not get wiped away when the terrible storms and such come on. So they're going to be fighting for control of those 3 center line objectives, like 1, 2, 3 up through the middle, and we're going to have like a pretty quickly ticking time.
Yeah, I mean, it would just stay there. We know who it is.
So we're going to have a pretty quickly ticking time from all of these, because they're going to be getting a momentum every single round. So let's see how this starts off. Right, and there's going to be a priority token that's going to be... And there's a priority token that's going to be going back and forth. Oh, because he has a bounty! So Ahsoka has a bounty on her, and so he gets an extra momentum to even more quickly accelerate this. Mandalorian Commandos, and in case you're wondering where the Mandalorian Commandos are, they're the ones who are on, there's like one of them right here, one over there, and they've been seeing this huge firefight go on. Oh, wait, no, that's Bo-Katan. So the Commandos are right there facing Cad Bane. So they saw Cad Bane basically like jetpack in their midst, shoot Bo-Katan. The question is, are they angry enough to try to get revenge on him, or are they going to try to go for those middle objectives? So they...
Is this your regular?
Yeah.
So they look at their target of opportunity, and they basically just saw Cad Bane basically jump himself right in the middle of them, and they say, hey, don't mind if we do, and they look at Cad Bane and just unload right into him. Got some pretty good attacks. Let's see how Cad Bane, how do you do? So we've got 1 block, 1 expertise, so he gets 2 blocks out of this, so not a ton. So 1 crit goes into Cad Bane, so they're going to basically do 1 slight damage to him. He goes, but it's big enough once where he like falls back. But he's like a primary character, right? So he doesn't just fall back like a chump. He does like a Darth Vader style. Falls back, lands on his feet, and just stares up at them. And now figures out with the other attack. He's like, wait, what do I do with this one? So next to him, he's got the bounty hunters, who are healthy, but he's trying to see if he can blast them back, or otherwise, I think the extra positioning of pushing them down so that they're forced to like expend an action to climb up would be worth it. So the other one, since he's at range, hunkers down, shoots out. Ooh, a ton of expertise. Let's see how that converts. We've got Aaron who does 3 blocks. And these are just the Mandalorians, so let's see what their stance is. So Mandalorian Super Commando's stance gives, let's see, he's got 2 damage, disarm, strength.
I'm going to give you a pin, 3 damage, and a shove.
Ooh, okay. So, oh no, wait, wrong one. That's not these. It is the other Clan Kreese Mandalorians. So yeah, these folks here
How many damage?
do the shoves, which is super helpful right here. Are actually able to do some repositioning for him.
I need to trade out some of these.
So after doing that, they're actually able to move, which is really cool. Like, again, like these commandos. So when they're shooting, they're not like shooting standing still. They're like Halo style. Like they're running while, or they're like doing the little strafe while they shoot. And when they finish, they just with their jetpack and run to the middle. And because of that, they get a little bit. We finished this round, and you notice like he's moving the struggle tracker because at the end of this, you know, like we're in mission critical time range. That means everything goes even faster. And I really want to help folks see, because there's going to be a battle going on in the middle. So what happens if we like elevate this perspective just a little bit and rotate us down? So new struggle, new point of view. Let's see what this is like. And is there any way for me to zoom in? Let me see if I can go to this video capture device, go to my properties over here, and let me see if I can do my camera control zoom. If I zoom a little bit more, I think I can give us a better view of this battlefield. Yeah, that is perfect. Go me. Apply. And okay, and this is a pretty high resolution camera, so I think we're doing good. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? Gosh, that's not good. Let's reset our, configure our video. You know what? Let's go back to our video capture device. Let's switch to our defaults. And let's see, instead, no, I think we are actually set here. So that's fine. That's fine. We'll leave it right up here. So we're zooming in just a little bit, just to try to get a little bit tighter view on all these folks, but we're going to have some pretty big actions. But we had IG-11 over there on the left who just laid into Ahsoka Tano.
I could add 3 dice. So I need to do how many total? 6?
So I'm going to zoom out here, but what I'm going to do is I'll go to the... So I'm going to go to my other camera control really quick, and what folks are going to see is I'm going to... 11 dice, so IG is coming for him.
Then I lose momentum.
Why?
So he is going to go to this, and he's going to say, you know what, I want the shorter mode. Let's go for the full 1080p resolution. There we go, and 65 frame field of view. Looks good. So we are going to deactivate the camera. Sorry folks, you're going to see the camera flicker off. Let me go here. I'm going to go to our camera and switch us to full 1080p resolution. Let's go to 65 FOV, which is what we want. So 65 FOV at 1080p resolution looks good. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we want. So perfect. This is going to give us a much better view on this. I'll close this and I'll give us our view back. And very good, ladies and gentlemen. Much better. Okay, so now what he's trying to figure out is he unfortunately missed, which was nuts.
Sorry, 5 damage. I'm going to move. I'm going to go up here. Find the ladder.
And we have IG-11
then I'll do my multi-threaded targeting computer, get a 5 dice attack. And then I focus, I already bumped it up to 6.
Sorry, do one quick tiny bit of camera modification just to see
So that would be
if I can
melee,
get to our
which
anchor
is
work and change the camera settings for us, because I
nothing but
think
so I
that could be
got
pretty cool to use some of the fancier features of this really nice camera rig that we've got set up for everybody.
so that would be
And yeah, that's what I'm going for. I'm saying 1080p resolution.
alright.
At that looks
And
perfect.
then
A little bit zoomed in, and so now when I turn my
that would
camera
be
on,
mission critical.
zoop, there we go.
And then I get 1.
And then another one because it's on my side.
Yep.
Ahsoka. Try to design.
Oh.
So actually, you know what? I just really don't want to mess
So if you
with
wound,
camera zoom.
if you wound me, then I think you win.
So the real question is, let me see if I can change this, and if I can change the bump up the resolution for everyone, just so that we're capturing at a little bit, higher frame rate for everybody, which I think would be kind of fun. Again, we're getting back into this after a little bit, folks. So we're trying to experiment. So let me update to our full highest camera resolution. Got it. Every single pixel we could possibly squeeze out of this. Looks good. And now let's go back. So a little bit sharper, which is what we were hoping for. Perfect. Maybe can folks see that? Maybe, maybe not. There we go. So we have Ahsoka up next. So what we were trying to get to is up next. It's Ahsoka, and Ahsoka just dashes right up to the top. She sees that Grief and the Mandalorian were there, but she's not afraid of Mandalorians. She runs up, sees Grief Karga. She just sees an unassuming dude, doesn't even ask him to surrender, and just both lightsabers just like tries to go through him. Unfortunately, she misses a little bit,
Okay, I got 1 crit.
but is able to do 1 crit.
1 damage, that's all that matters.
Which is all that she needs to. So she does some really cool spin, and then just cleaves through this poor Grief Karga, and with that, gets the objective points. So we have the massive transport land right in the middle, and since her group's controlling all of them, she's able to kick the Mandalorian off the edge, and call it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us. But thanks. I hope you got to have some fun. We absolutely love Shatterpoint. A super ton here in fun here in Austin, Texas. And yeah, hope to catch folks again later for another stream. Thanks, folks.